it's Elyse here at Bowman Library with a whole new teen book spotlight. So, for this week, our theme, I spent some time taking a look back at the many books I was able to read for this year of 2023. And guess what I've decided to do? Upon some reflection, we are going to take a look at some of my favorite reads of the year. Okay, so there are some amazing titles, but I will tell you this, and I'm going to self-brag here for a second. One of the things I'm incredibly proud of myself of for this year is I read outside my comfort zone, which can be something that is so hard to do. And it doesn't always pay off, which is, I think, for me, one of the frustrating parts of this. But for me this year, it did, because when I pulled together the books that I'm going to talk to you about, and I get a bonus book this time. We got 7 books because I just couldn't whittle it down to 6. We got 7, okay? They're all completely different, okay? Yeah. So I could not wait to share with you my favorite reads of 2023. So let's get started. Oh, first one, The Words We Keep. Okay, so nothing has been the same for Lily since she found her older sister, Alice, on the bathroom floor self-harming 3 months before our story begins. So, when our story picks up, Lily has decided that she's going to be ultra focused on schoolwork so she can avoid coming to terms with what happened. But that's going to be extremely hard to do because not only is she trying to come to terms with things, but she also finds out that Alice is coming home after 2 months of inpatient treatment at a facility. Lily has her own secrets though, as to how she has been actually dealing with everything. And when she is paired with Micah, who is a new student at her school, and he seems to think he knows everything there is to know about Lily because she ends up finding out that he was at the same treatment center as her older sister, and her older sister talked about her. They end up paired up on a school project, and as they start to know each other and get to know each other and they reveal themselves, her secrets slowly start to be revealed, and before she knows it, Lily is spiraling toward a potentially bad ending, dealing with her own mental health issues. Okay, so this incredibly realistic read, it does not shy away from discussions of mental health, anxiety disorders, self-harm, but they are shared in an impactful and insightful manner. What I loved about this one is it reminds you to open your, have an open eyes and open mind that you have no idea what anyone might be going through or what they're dealing with. And yeah, an incredible read, The Words We Keep. Okay, this one's so outside my comfort zone. A Magic Steeped in Poison. Gorgeous cover, right? Gorgeous. Okay, so this is the first in a completed duology. The second book is already out, okay? We meet 17-year-old Ning, who comes from a family of Shenyang, okay? Now, the Shenyang are individuals who are able to wield magic and cure physical and emotional ailments through teas they brew, okay? Now, Ning is racked with guilt when our story starts because she believes that she caused the death of her mother and now her sister is going to be next, okay? Ning unleashes this poison. That's what kills her mother. The sister has ingested it as well. She's going to die if Ning doesn't do something, okay? And that something is going to be, Ning hears that the princess, she's offering a competition, okay? There's a trial that she's going to put people through. Ning knows she has to go and she has to win because here's what the deal is. If you win, if you're the champion, the princess owes you one favor. And Ning knows that favor can be that they can save her sister, okay? So it's when she travels to the palace, she soon finds herself wrapped up in court intrigue, backstabbing, and not knowing who she can and cannot trust, that Ning will need to rely on herself and her abilities more than ever before, okay? This fast-paced, action-packed fantasy is for those of you who may not be fantasy readers, like me, okay? But I promise you, you will want to read what happens next, okay? Even though it is a fantasy, it doesn't read like a fantasy, I promise you, okay? Again, has some court intrigue, there is a little bit of romance, but nothing too crazy. A Magic Steeped in Poison. Oh, Sunshine. Oh, this one I will warn you right now. You may need a box of tissues with you, okay? In this graphic memoir follow-up by Jarrett Krasaska to Hey Kiddo, and if you have not read Hey Kiddo, you have to read Hey Kiddo. Hey Kiddo is probably one of the most powerful books I have read in a long, long time, okay? You need to read Hey Kiddo. It's a graphic novel. Now, you don't have to read Hey Kiddo in order to read Sunshine here, but it does make a little more sense, okay? Now, in Sunshine, Jarrett spends his summer between sophomore and junior year of high school. He goes for 1 week, and because there's a program his high school does that they send kids to be camp counselors at a camp for children with severe illnesses, okay? So Jarrett's one of the lucky few that has chosen to do this. He goes up to camp for a week. Not knowing what to expect, he's initially anxious, but when he's paired with 13-year-old Diego, who has advanced brain cancer and is in a wheelchair, as well as with a little kid named Eric, who has leukemia, they start to change his life more than he does for them. As they progress throughout the week, knowing that their time is running short, Jarrett and his fellow counselors decide they are going to offer these campers the time of their lives. Okay, this week at this camp has a profound impact on Jarrett's life, and the graphic novel is incredibly well done. It's a look at morality, grief, and death. Topics that are not normally discussed, especially in graphic novel form, but Jarrett Krasaska does an amazing job. Again, you may probably need a box of tissues with you. This is Sunshine. Okay, this one, so out of my wheelhouse. I will completely tell you that up front and honest. So glad I read it. Okay, so this is The Luminaries. Okay, now Winnie and her family belong to a secret organization called the Luminaries. Now, these people are hunters who kill monsters and nightmarish creatures before they can enter the human world. Like, they're in this in-between space that the Luminaries can see them in, okay? It's when they turn 16, typically, each individual gets to enter the 3-round luminary trials in order to become a monster hunter. And each trial has its own task it has to complete. You have to pass it in order to get to the next one. Winnie has a problem though. It's that her father was caught being an enemy spy, and now she and her family are outcasts. They are not included in anything, okay? But all Winnie has ever wanted to do is become a luminary. So deciding not to let this setback stop her, okay, Winnie enters the trials through a loophole. And when she is saved by an unknown and frightening aura during her first trial, which is going to be an epic failure, the last minute she is saved by this weird thing that appears that she doesn't even know how to describe it, okay? She gets to round 2, and Winnie doesn't know if she should tell the truth or if anyone would even listen to her, but she feels that there is evil in this aura, and it could change everything Winnie knows, and it may be up to her and her old best friend Jay to discover what exactly is lurking in the dark. Now, there is a sequel which has come out, okay? It said there is a cliffhanger. And this one, you will need to read the sequel to find out what happens. But again, so outside my wheelhouse, but I really enjoyed this one. Like, usually something I don't go for, but I'm so glad I did. The Luminaries. Oh, Me Moth. Okay, now, this incredible novel in verse by a Virginia author, by the way, Amber McBride here, Virginia author, okay, is one that does start off slow. I will tell you right now. It took me a little bit to get into this, okay? But if you stick with it, it packs a punch. Now, Moth has just lost her entire family in a car crash that, for some reason, she survives. But now she doesn't know why, and she just wishes that she were dead. Living with her Aunt Jack, Moth keeps to herself. She has stopped her dancing, which was her passion before, and she feels invisible. It is when she meets new student Sonny that things start to change. And Moth starts to feel as though she's finally seen by someone. Soon, the two of them find themselves on a road trip from Virginia to New Mexico to find Sonny's biological father. And what happens along the way will change their lives and everything they knew and understood. I will tell you right now, there is a slap you on your face moment in this one, to which I give the author so much credit, okay? Like, again, it starts off slow, but I promise you, wha-bam, okay? So, powerful read that will stick with you long after last page. An incredible novel in verse case. This is written in poetry format. Even if you don't like poetry, you'll love it. Meemaw. American Murderer. You know I love a good nonfiction. And Gail Jarrow, she's done it again, okay? First off, great title. Even better cover because it's incredibly creepy, right? Just, yeah. Okay. So in her newest medical mysteries nonfiction series, this one is a little gross and it's a little bit creepy, okay? Especially since it's all true, okay? So in the late 1800s and early 1900s, there's this doctor named Charles Styles. And now he's actually a zoologist, okay? He's not a medical doctor, but he notices that there's something happening to people living in the deep south of the United States. Many of them have very similar health issues, from being emaciated to looking like they are not able to get enough food, or they are just pure exhausted, they are weak, and they're not able to pay attention for long periods of time. Curious about this, Dr. Styles starts to explore and observe, and what he discovers is so shocking that many people don't even believe it. He has to spend most of his career trying to get people to believe this, okay? He discovers that many people were infected or are infected by this parasite called a hookworm, okay? And even though there is an incredibly easy cure for this, it was totally difficult getting people to believe and understand. That was the difficult part, okay? Now, when all was said and done, it is estimated that over 3 million people were actually killed from this infection, okay? This is another page turner from this author. Make sure you check out her other amazing nonfiction reads as well. But this one, like, I knew nothing about this. This is like, and it's still stuff that is going on today, okay? Incredible nonfiction. You know I love nonfiction. You know I won't steer you wrong. American Murderer. And our bonus book for this time, because I couldn't just narrow it down to 6. Something, again, so out of my wheelhouse. The Weight of Blood. Oh, so good. Okay, now, Maddie Washington has always been bullied at school, as she dresses and she acts differently than the rest of her classmates. And then when it's revealed that she is actually biracial, now this whole time she's been passing for white, things get even worse for her as the bullying increases. As things come to light on social media, in order to help the school's appearance, okay, it is suggested that this year they're going to break tradition and they're going to have an all-together prom instead of a separate one for whites and black students, okay? And believe me, this is stuff that actually really does happen. I did look this up after I read this. This actually does happen, okay? Now, things change quickly for Maddie, though, when not only is she asked to go to prom by the most popular boy in school, but she also starts to uncover a family secret, which leads her to discover an ability that she never knew she had, but will end with disastrous results, okay? Now, a take on the classic Carrie by Stephen King. You may think you know what's going to happen. I promise you, you don't, though, okay? This book explores social issues such as racism, bullying, police brutality, and will leave you needing to know what is going on, what is going to happen, what is happening already. And even though you may think you know where the plot is headed, told through multiple points of view and also through podcast episodes, it is actually a great listen if you're looking for an audiobook. It's an amazing listen. I could not put this one down. Again, so out of my wheelhouse, so glad I read it. The Weight of Blood. So these right here are 7 of my favorite reads of 2023. So I encourage you to come on down, check out one of these, or find something else and maybe that will be one of your favorite reads of this year. I hope you have an incredible week, and I hope you tune back next time with a whole new teen book spotlight.